I'm ripping the band-aid off this one real quick. No gimmicks, no quirks. When I started Shibatarian, I thought it was the must-read horror manga of the year. The first 6 or so chapters showed a lot of promise, and the next few after that, while changing the tone in the manga, still lent itself well to the school horror type angle it was playing for. But over time, the flaws of this manga started to get wider and wider. This is why you have to know a story and what direction it's going in before you start making any proclamations about how good it is. Authored by Katsuya Iwamuro and published irregularly on the Jump Plus app, Shibatarian is a horror manga that, while only less than 20 chapters deep, has intrigued me enough to stick with this story and see how it develops. If you like series like Zetman, Shag and Scoob, Ichinosi Family, you'll probably like Shibatarian. Hajime Sato, a film-loving middle schooler, ventures to a nearby hill one day when he happens upon a fellow student, Shibata, buried underneath a sakura tree. They strike up a quick friendship and bond over marathoning old TV shows and movies at Shibata's large family home after school. They even grow close enough to plan and develop a film for the upcoming school festival. Despite the positive impact that Shibata has had on Hajime, their fellow classmates don't take kindly to this new budding friendship. In fact, the rest of the students don't even seem to be aware of who Shibata is. It's from this point on in the manga that the creepiness starts to set in. Iwamuro's artwork is very gothic, yet extremely sparse. I won't say it's bad because their body composition is well understood, but perhaps all of the characters looking like Shibata isn't just a stylistic choice. The character design is oddly similar to Cal Arts, but the anatomy is very much in the realm of manga. Perhaps Iwamuro is a newer artist? I've been vocal about disliking manga that forgoes background art for character close-ups. In Shibatarian, you'll seldomly find any backgrounds at all. This is one of the sparsest manga that I've read in quite some time. But each character is drawn with a strong aesthetic, with so much kinetic energy flowing through them that you don't often realize how barren everything is. Does anyone remember when Bleach was in its Hyukomundo arc and fan conversations started targeting Kubo for how bland and empty his backgrounds and outfits were? I think I need to revisit that arc again. Lately, I've been developing a softness, a fondness towards that approach in manga, and I think Shibatarian is a big part of that. The writing is lackadaisically careful. Not a lot of ground has been covered, and the constant twists are keeping me engaged. But the recent chapters aren't living up to what I was expecting when the manga had started. The conflict of this series moves from the students to Shibata, Watari, and others basically fighting off the wishes of evil Hajime within their school over one long night. I'm not sure if that's the direction this story should have gone in. I would have liked a lot more psychological, thriller, suspense-esque moments in this manga, at least to build up the characters and to develop some stakes. Or hell, even offer us some explanations, like why the protagonist and antagonist share a first name. TBH, the shitty naming convention doesn't do anything but confuse me, so I'm hoping there's a reason for them both being called Hajime. And the focus of the characters doesn't really work. The mangaka is taking so many liberties with writing devices when they really lack the experience to do such a thing. This all comes off very sophomoric, like a really bad Dawn of the Dead rip. Watari is a great female lead though, and Minamino is a mysterious force that harkens back to the campy horror shows of my youth or grisly tales for gruesome kids. The release schedule of Shibatarian is also holding it back. A lot of the Jump Plus manga operates on irregular schedules, bi-weekly, shifting between weekly, 3 chapters a month with a sketch for fans at month's end, what have you. And while that's great for the mangaka, it can throw off the pacing and popularity of a series. Shibatarian started off weekly, looked to be monthly for a bit, but seems to have settled into a bi-weekly schedule. Honestly, this is the sort of series that needs to be weekly, or at the very least, 30 pages per bi-weekly chapter. Right now, it's under 20 pages per, and I'm having trouble remembering or even caring about the most recent revelations. I won't give too much away about this manga, but trust me, it's a fun read. Despite my many concerns, it isn't bad, and there aren't any other series like Shibatarian in the magazine right now. I like the American Gothic feel of it, and it can get pretty gory at times. It reminds me a lot of the suspense horrors of the late 90s, early 2000s. 6 out of 10.